Hey guys, Joe here. We'll talk a little bit about the July 11th plus or minus a few days of the Webbot thing. Um, just some things, I've been looking over the last couple of days for anything that really sticks out like a sore thumb that to me could be, oh, well, maybe that's what it was. Building another phase of building tensions, but there should be some type of event and then building tensions, supposedly. Um, so I'm going to read a few things that I've got, and then I'm going to read another part of the Webbot report also. I guess we'll start with the BP oil disaster. We're shown that they got this brand new cap in place, and oh, this is a great one. It's going to work. It successfully has been put on, but it's wide open, allowing oil to gush. So tonight, they're supposed to be capping the top and checking the pressure. If the pressure is high, to them that's a good sign, which means it's not leaking out from the ground floor, top of the ground floor, to the 5 miles down of piping down to whatever the hell they've drilled into. Because if it's leaking down that far, that would probably explain why it's bursting out of the seams and then the sides and coming up 5, 10, 15 miles away, reportedly. That makes sense because the first cap they tried probably made it blow out below and force its way out elsewhere. So I have a feeling maybe that's what's going to happen here. I don't know. But anyways, I'm going to read a few things here. BP was still preparing Tuesday evening for the crucial integrity tests to determine whether a new cap can completely seal its well in the Gulf of Mexico that has been spewing oil for 85 days. The test will measure pressure inside the well and will last anywhere from 6 to 48 hours. It will involve incrementally closing 3 valves on the new cap, a process that will allow BP to do its pressure measurements. Workers completed seismic surveys around the well site earlier Tuesday to see if any hazards exist on the sea floor. I cannot find anywhere what those results were. How did the sea floor look? No one seemed to ask that question, and I can't find a single website that actually reports and says, here's what the results of that seismic activity or survey says. But at the same time, are they able to do seismic activity 5 miles beneath the floor? Ground penetrating radar and that type of thing, that's really what you're going to need when you hit ground. So those things aren't going down miles. They go down, 50 feet or 100 feet or something, that's about it. So, whatever, but that's one thing. And BP has said that the sealing cap system never before has been deployed at these depths or under these conditions, and its efficiency and ability to contain the oil and gas cannot be assured. So, like the Webbot guy was saying, we're going to have not just a period of building tensions, weeks or month or whatever of building tension, and then an event. It's going to be from July 11th on, basically building tension, release, almost on a daily basis. So I'm reading all the stuff today about the BP oil spill, and while I'm reading it, I'm actually feeling a sigh of relief. Oh, that's good. And then the next paragraph, oh, that's not so good. And then I'm reading the next paragraph. Well, that sounds okay. And then the next paragraph, well, then it may make it worse. Oh, so I'm almost having a building tension release by the 10 seconds. Forget daily. Every few seconds I read down a paragraph. But anyways, I'm just trying to do my best to interpret and look around and see what could that have meant. Because even before the BP oil disaster happened, the Webbot actually didn't say get ready for an unnatural disaster that's going to have to do with oil leaking. It did say you will have to be dealing with unnatural disasters, and specifically, it'll be highly important between the months of July and August. An unnatural disaster, but that was the gist of it, unnatural. This fits the bill, but it didn't say specifically what. So after the fact, it's like, oh, well, obviously that's the unnatural disaster. Now let's see how the rest of the report fits in there. Oh my God, it fits beautifully if we use this BP oil leak, which also means looking into the later part of the report, it's probably safe to say that even if they come out tomorrow or the next day or the day after, Friday, we got this under control, it looks good, we're getting oil, it's capped, blah, blah, blah. I'm almost going to have to sit back and say, I don't know if it's going to quite go that well, and there may be another week or two, and then bam, something comes out, and holy crap, the thing blew out, it's terrible, and then we get to the 12 days of August, or was it September, whatever it was, of the Obama administration is going to have to make a very important decision, the best, most powerful decision they've ever had to make or something. Pressure is going to be on. I think it was either the first 12 days of August or September. I can't remember in the report. Anyway, so there's another thing that, again, has happened on or about the 11th of July, plus or minus a couple days. The Israeli military says it has begun efforts to try to stop a Libyan aid ship from reaching Gaza. And then he is quoted as saying, the ship has received an ultimatum from the Israelis that we have to leave the area by tonight. We are not going to do that. So how is that going to end? Just reading that right there automatically would be classified as building tensions. What's going to happen? Are they going to change their mind and turn around? Are they going to hold their ground and see what Israel does? And what is Israel going to do? Are they going to kill 9 more people like they did last time? Are they actually going to sink this ship this time? Are they actually going to let it go by? Right? This is building tensions. So, I thought about that. And again, we're supposed to be looking for an event around July 11th. Event happens, and then building tensions off that event. The problem was, in Cliff High, the owner of the Webbot, never really came out, and even in his reports, he said, we're just not sure specifically what July 11th is going to bring. It could be the Israel-Iran thing. It could be the oil leak thing. It could be the stock markets or the dollar or all the above, kind of working itself in there together. And he wouldn't come out and say, well, this is what it is. If that's all the data that the report provides him, he's not going to come out and say specifically, bam, this is what it is. If the data does provide that, and it has many, many times specifically, he'll say it. And then it usually happens. Not always, but usually it does. So I'm just doing my little thinking here. I'm scavenging around the internet, scouring site after site that I visit to figure out, I wonder if, how this could tie in, or just try to make it fit so that if I can make it fit, then I can kind of project out and see, well, let's see how that goes, and then maybe this will happen, that kind of thing. You're just analyzing things the best we can. So the next thing I hear about today, doctors threaten to pull out of Texas Medicaid. Cuts to the reimbursements given to doctors who treat patients covered by the state's low-income health care program are raising fears that already declining physician participation will fall even further, according to a published report. And there's a big article about it. So now all of these doctors in Texas are about to get out of health care, Medicaid specifically. This is, and who owns the healthcare industries and the pharmaceuticals? This is another area that's going to fail, according to the Webbot, specifically pharmaceuticals. And if you don't have these people getting their care from doctors through Medicaid, then the pharmaceutical industry isn't going to be selling crap to all these people that would be patients. Possibly, it's just my opinion, my little thought. So this is all within a couple days, right? And kind of important stuff, The most important of everything that I just read you is really the BP oil leak. Because they still haven't said anything one way or the other. Now they're going to do tests for between 6 and 48 hours. If the pressures are low, that's bad news. Because that means it's leaking out through the floor somewhere. That's terrible news. If the pressures are high, he says that's good news. Because that means either tiny bits leaking through the floor and it's okay with them. Or nothing's leaking through the floor and they're capturing all the oil. I guess. So, I don't know. Well, we have to just wait a couple more days, really, just to see how this thing pans out. And right now, the only thing that's within a couple of days is really the oil leak, to really see, do they have a grasp on this thing or not? And even if they do, come later this July here, end of the month, another 15 days or so, that's when some interesting decisions have to be made the first part of August. And one of the reports says it's going to have to do with this oil thing. So if this thing appears to be capped off tomorrow or the next day and everyone's cheering and BP stock goes through the roof, I don't want any of you dumbasses posting comments about, oh, the robot's wrong, you were wrong, you're an idiot. I'm just doing my part, trying to figure something out that's some kind of new technology than the Webbot. It's very out there. It is correct more than it is incorrect. Therefore, I'd be a fool not to pay no attention to it. I should at least look at what it's saying and then try to see what fits. And if I see things that fit, that blow me away, which there have been numerous times this report has, then I need to investigate. So you know, I'm not making some kind of prophecy prediction here, and if it's wrong, so what? You know, they're not perfect, and I will take the next one with a grain of salt too, and say, well, this may or may not happen. At least they're telling me an event in advance that I didn't even know about, much less an outcome of it. Let me see how much time I got here.